Hello and welcome. This will be a reading for Cancer for October 2023. Welcome to the table, Cancer. I have pre-shuffled the cards, but I will shuffle them again for you. I'll be doing a 10-card reading with 5 cards along the top row and 5 cards along the bottom row. I'll be talking about those cards as they come out and then overlaying them with a second deck of cards. The flowers today are from my garden, and the crystals have been in their salt bath. I do hope you enjoy them. I also have an oracle deck on the table, and I'll be drawing an oracle card at the end of the tarot reading. The tarot reading will be quite complete in itself, and the oracle card is really only there in case anyone wants some additional information. So if you are happy to leave the reading at the end of the tarot reading, that's fine too. Okay, let's begin this reading. All right, so the cards will be in the upright as well as in the reverse position. Okay, 7 of Wands, 8 of Swords, 6 of Wands, 8 of Cups, and the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, the Knight of Swords, the Hanged Man, the King of Cups in reverse, the 9 of Wands, and the 6 of Cups. I do apologise. Roman numerals have got me, haven't they? Okay, what have we got there? All right, we have got the 8 of Pentacles. All right, let's start this reading. So we have got the 7 of Swords. So this is a little bit of being defensive, a little bit of feeling you need to protect your ego. Perhaps people are challenging you and people could be making disparaging remarks or just being a little bit pushy around you. But this is something, where your ego could be feeling a little bit bruised, and you're always needing to sort of put yourself first, because this could be also people trying to make you put yourself last, and sort of this is quite important that you put yourself first, that you have self-respect, and that you defend yourself if people are challenging you. So that's quite a positive card. So the 7 of Swords is not a negative card. This is just talking about challenges. Perhaps if your ego is feeling a bit fragile and you are being challenged, maybe you need to take a little bit of a step back and see if the challenges are genuine or whether they're just being provocative to sort of get a reaction from you. And that can sometimes be the case that people do that. Now, here we've got the 8 of Swords. So the 8 of Swords, now the 8 of this card was in the reverse position. I know it's very difficult to tell, but I can see that it's in the reverse position. So that is telling me that, where you have maybe felt a little bit trapped and hemmed in, feeling that you've been stuck, I think that energy is going to move fairly soon. It's telling me that you will soon be able to step sideways and get out of that restraint. You may not have the capacity to travel in every direction, so to speak, but you are going to find an escape from this 8 of Wands, this holding back, this sort of mental imprisonment. So that's something that happens to you in the night. Sometimes we hold ourselves back. Sometimes we just have self-limiting beliefs, but it looks like there's going to be a release from that soon. Now here we've got the 6 of Wands. Now the 6 of Wands is in reverse again. So this is a card of victory. This is being acknowledged by your peers, or say in your workplace, where people are giving you some acknowledgement and credit for the work that you have done, and recognising you, and perhaps either giving you a increase in your pay, for example, or just giving you a little bit of congratulations. But this card is in the reverse aspect. So that means that you feel perhaps that you are not being given sufficient credit for the things that you do or the work that you put in. Now that may be why you are feeling a little bit defensive, because if people are not recognising your efforts and they're not rewarding you, particularly in the workplace, that makes you quite defensive because you become a little bit jaded when you're constantly overlooked or disregarded. So there's that sense of being a little bit disregarded here, people overlooking you, and perhaps you needing to be a little bit defensive. Now, that could be the circumstances around you. I do feel it's around work. More than anything else, I feel that that's happening in the workplace or something that you're putting effort into. Now, work can also be school, because people who are learning, say at school or at university, that is still a collective where you're putting a lot of effort in. So when the pentacles appear on the table, that's talking about effort, work, but effort and work are the same thing as far as the pentacles are concerned. So I do feel that you've got this need to be a bit defensive. You're feeling a little bit shut down, and maybe you're a little bit protective of yourself. But I think that's because you're being overlooked for some reason, or you're not being acknowledged for the work, the efforts and the hard work that you're putting in. Now, clearly you're putting in effort, but you're not being rewarded for that, or you're not being acknowledged. Now we've got the Seven of Cups. So this can talk about being daydreaming, fantasies, illusions, not knowing exactly what it is you want, not being sure about what it is you want, maybe being a little bit, and I'll use the word flowery in your descriptions of what it is you're looking for. And people might think, if you say, oh, I'm looking for love and I'd like somebody to treat me well and I'd like them to do this and I'd like them to do that, and people might say to you, that's a little bit unrealistic. You need to take love as it comes towards you. You can't necessarily have a list of conditions that you want fulfilled, because things cannot all, it's like a tapestry. You can embroider those stitches into the tapestry, but it's very difficult to find somebody who's going to match your blueprint for your tapestry. So this is a little bit of, looking in all the different cups for your options. So maybe you've got a lot of options because the card was in the upright position. So perhaps you have a lot of options, or you're investigating your options. Now, you may be desiring to move on from where you find yourself. Maybe you feel that because people are not recognizing who you are, and perhaps you're feeling a little bit dissatisfied, perhaps you are examining your options and looking around you to see if there's something better that you might be able to grasp hold of. So that's not a bad idea if you're feeling overlooked, and particularly if it's a repeat thing where you're putting in work and you're constantly overlooked. It's probably wise to have a look around and see what else is out there. Now, you've got the Six of Pentacles. Again, this card is in the reverse. These cards are very difficult to tell whether they're in the reverse or the upright position, but I can see that. Now, the Six of Pentacles is about an equal giving and receiving. So you may be putting in more effort than, this more effort than you are being acknowledged for. So this is a card that is telling me that when it comes to giving and receiving, something's out of balance. So, when the money comes in, for example, the reward for your work should be commensurate with the effort and the responsibilities that you have. So perhaps you're being underpaid or not being rewarded sufficiently, because this card is telling me that there's an imbalance in the give and take in terms of the efforts or the rewards that you're receiving for the efforts that you're putting in. So something's out of balance, and that's no wonder then that you're looking around for different options, and perhaps even looking for a different job that pays perhaps something that's more in balance with what the efforts that you put in. If somebody's asking you to work very long hours and there's no overtime and there's no tea break, no sort of meal break at the end, and there's no worries about what time you go home at night, and they're not rewarding you with a bonus or a pay rise, then perhaps it's time to move on. And that's sort of what these cards are telling me. So, I think you're wise to look around for different options. Now, this is the the Knight of Swords, for example, can be a little bit hasty. So be careful that you're not hasty. If you constantly feel like you're defending yourself, if you're hasty, you may not necessarily get what you want. But this can be a breakthrough, or this can be a very fast message coming in. So it can be any one of those things. And I'm not at this stage, because I haven't read the other cards, I'm not getting a clearer picture as to what that can be. So it can warn. It was in the upright position, so it's probably more likely that a message is going to come in towards you. So we'll just leave it at that at this stage. Now we've got the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is about making a sacrifice of some sort. You're prepared to make a sacrifice. It's sort of like when you start your first job, you're prepared to sacrifice your time to a certain extent, just so that you can learn the trade and learn the language of where you're starting to work and become familiar with all the people and the politics and what's required. And then later on you can say, look, I've already given you 6 months of my time. I've been working very hard. I've sacrificed a lot of my personal time to become familiar and become a good employee, but enough's enough already, and I'd like you to recognise my talents, because this card is a card of sacrifice. So this is a willing sacrifice on your part. This is something you have mentally or verbally agreed to do. This could also be family, because you could be sacrificing something for your family. You could be helping your relatives somehow. You could be working in a business for your family, so that you are putting your own needs perhaps on the back burner while you're trying to help your family strengthen their position, like if you're working on a farm or you're working in the family business. But sooner or later you will want to stand on your own feet. But at the moment it says that you're agreeable to this sacrifice. Now we have the King of Cups here. And he's in the reverse position. So the King of Cups in the reverse position is somebody who can manipulate, using their emotions against you to manipulate you. So if this is a boss, or it can be, because this is a mature energy. This is somebody who knows the ropes and has experience in life. So this energy can manipulate you in a way that one day they're your best friend and they tell you what a great job you're doing and how fabulous you are, and they're so happy with you, and the next day they're gaslighting you and being very cold and aloof while they talk to everyone else in the room. So this is in the reverse aspect. This is telling me that you are pardon me, that you have a manipulator in your midst. Okay, so somebody is trying to manipulate you, and as I said, this is on this card, it's a masculine energy, and it's a mature energy. So somebody who is using their emotional know-how to get what they want. They're really only focused on themselves. They're a little bit they can often be quite flamboyant and expressive. They know all the right words, but be careful that you examine what they say if their emotions towards you are inconsistent. So let the actions speak more strongly than the words, I would recommend anyway. And if you have any doubts about the way the words are coming towards you when... What am I feeling here? I'm getting the word horse's tail. It's almost like, definitely sort of the horse's tail is making me think that they're definitely not putting your interests first. Okay, they're very much focused on their own interests. And you have become, in this case, the horse's tail. So they only look at you when they want to fly away, or when they want to make you do something else. And these people are expert at manipulating. So be very careful, and perhaps a little bit more protective of yourself if you feel like you are being manipulated. Now here we've got the Nine of Wands. It's in the upright position, so it looks like you're getting quite exhausted. you're a little bit hemmed in. I feel like you're a little bit trapped somehow. Somehow you've been boxed in. The word is boxed in this case. You're wondering whether you have the strength to keep going, and it requires a little bit more effort on your part if you want to finish this project and if you want to stay where you are. So it's going to require a little bit more effort. Maybe if you have just started in a workplace and you've been there only a short period of time, you may need to stay a little bit longer so that your resume looks more acceptable to a new employee, a new employer, for example. So this is about focusing on your needs to make sure that you are getting what you want, and that the efforts that you are putting in are still going to bring you some satisfaction when you've completed the project. So it is telling me that you're getting tired with what you've been doing. Now we've got the 6 of Cups here. So this is nostalgia. This can be reconnecting with old friends. This could be going to a reunion. This can be being a little bit sentimental, catching up with people, looking through photos. As I said, it's more of a nostalgic energy. This is quite youthful energy. So this is sort of putting yourself in a position where you remember what it was like to be young and carefree and to not have so many responsibilities, where the joy of life came rolling in a little bit more often. As you get older, it's sometimes harder to find the joy in life if you're so busy with responsibilities. So this is quite a it can be sentiment as well, so being a little bit sentimental perhaps, and being a little bit soft. And people might say to you, because I did have this here, this 7 of Cups, so there may be a bit of an influence around you that says perhaps that you're immature. But don't forget, you've got this King of Cups here, so somebody would use a statement like that against you. But otherwise, it's just nostalgia, okay? So if somebody is saying to you you're being immature, then you need to look backwards and look at it. Who is that person saying that? Because the statement isn't necessarily correct. It depends on who is offering you that statement. But otherwise, it's just nostalgia and being carefree and light-hearted and young. Okay, so here we've got the 8 of Pentacles. It's in the upright position. So working hard. This card is normally associated with satisfaction in what you're doing, and also talks about long-term stability, being prepared to put in the work for your long-term stability. But if you're not happy with what you're doing, then definitely look sideways, because you may have put down sufficient funds so that you can take a sideways step and not necessarily stay where you are if you're unhappy with what you're doing. But the card is in the upright position, so it tells me that you are focused on your long-term goals, so and the work that you're doing. All right, let's clarify these cards. I might clarify these cards with the tarot cats. Now, again, these cards are very well shuffled, and again, some of them will be in the upright position and some in the reverse position. Okay. One more, and then we'll cut. There we go. And off we go. Okay, 5 of Pentacles, worrying about not having sufficient funds. So I think that you're thinking, and I am getting the feeling that this is about a job or something that you've putting a lot of effort into, and perhaps you're worried about being pushed out into the cold. I'll talk about that a little bit more, because otherwise I'm getting ahead of myself. The Queen of Wands in reverse. 10 of Swords in the upright position. Knight of Wands in reverse. The Empress. King of Swords in reverse. The Chariot. Knight of Cups. King of Pentacles. And the 5 of Cups. All right. Okay, I don't know where to start. Okay, let's just have a look who you've got there. Okay, you've got the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, that's finding that balance that I was talking about before, where it was not balanced. So the energy here is the Six of Pentacles. You are going to find that balance. That's beautiful. So balance and equal giving and receiving. So I do think you're going to find that. I think you're going to examine what you're doing and what the rewards are for what you're doing. And I think you're going to find that balance. Right, let's start this reading. So on top of this defensive card, you've got this Five of Pentacles. So again, there's this, either this is a perceived threat of not having enough, or you find yourself in an actual position where you recognize that you are not being rewarded properly for what you are doing. So this is out in the cold. And you know, if you've been manipulated, like I said, somebody who is friendly one day and then pushes you out into the cold the next day, that's a total manipulator. So there's this, either this card represents that you're not being rewarded sufficiently for what you do, or you sense a lack, or you are being pushed out into the cold. Now, on top of the Eight of Swords, feeling trapped here, perhaps you are feeling that there's no way out, and perhaps you have lost confidence in yourself, because this card, this is the Queen of Wands. Now, this Queen is entirely confident on who she is. Now, she has no doubts about who she is and how strong she is and what she wants to do, and she can do anything she likes. So perhaps you've lost your confidence a little bit. That's what I'm feeling from that card there. But you know, you need to, sometimes it's a good idea, and this is what I recommend, to look at your resume, surround yourself with some of the people who really care about you, and listen to their advice and listen to what they've got to say about the kind of person that you are. Because if you're surrounded, if you're at work and say your boss is a bit of a manipulator, then you will start to doubt yourself very, very quickly. So the Queen of Wands is asking you to not lose your confidence and to not doubt yourself, and to be a little bit more bold, perhaps. Pardon me. Now, the Queen of Wands would be quite bold. She will just drive home what she wants. She'll be able to create what she wants, and she'll just say, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an engine driver. Whatever she wants, she is going to go after it, and she has no doubt about her capacity to do that job. So if you're lacking in confidence, perhaps have a look at your resume, talk to the people who love you most, and let them reassure you as to your good capabilities, rather than listening to somebody who is quick to put you down. Now here we've got the Six of Wands. So this is, as I said, that was in the reverse position and feeling that you weren't being recognized. Here we've got the Ten of Swords. This hurts. When you're overlooked, and when you're not rewarded, and when people are putting you down and all of those things, it hurts. And you feel that you've had enough. And perhaps this King of Cups, it's on top of the King of Cups. So I'd say the King of Cups has done his damage. If you've been gaslighted and criticised unnecessarily, perhaps, then all of those words hurt and they do damage to you. But it's the 10. So it's telling me that you've had enough. Okay, so I think you'll take some action, because I think you've had quite enough of being hurt. Now we've got the Knight of Wands in the reverse. Okay, the Knight of Wands charges ahead and takes action. Now you've got the Queen of Wands in reverse and the Knight of Wands. If you have made the decision that you're going to take action, then by all means go ahead and do that. Now this is in the reverse aspect, so maybe you're a little bit frightened of taking action. And I feel that here your cups here, your emotional state of affairs, perhaps is making you nervous about taking action. But sometimes if you sit and analyse the situation, you may discover that you don't always have a choice, because otherwise you'll continue to be hurt. So the number 10 is telling me it's over. You don't want to bring a whole new cycle of swords coming your way again. Okay. Now we've got, on top of the Six of Pentacles, we've got this beautiful Empress card. Now this is abundance and fertility and creativity. This is the divine goddess. This is somebody who knows their worth, and this is somebody who's creative. So there's this Six of Pentacles in reverse, where you are not being received and not being rewarded sufficiently. This is where you either listen to somebody who tells you how much you're worth and how much you're loved and how much you're appreciated, because this is an energy of knowing your own value. So that's, and putting your heart out there and putting your efforts out there, you know what you're worth. So once you reassess your own value, then you're much more confident, and you're able to be creative, and then you're much more confident in moving forward. On top of this Knight of Swords, in the reverse aspect, you've got the King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords here in the reverse aspect is somebody who may then give you a, what shall I say? This can be like an argument back, cutting remarks, somebody who cuts you out, leaves you, again, it's leaving you out in the cold. So this could be somebody who cuts you off completely and pushes you out into the cold. So be guarded for that and be ready for it, because if you're mentally ready for it and you know that the behavior that's coming, then you are much more prepared, because this is somebody here who's quite prepared, and he has a little bit of a sly look on his face, as you can see. So this person is quite prepared to be a little bit strategic, cunning, scheming and planning. So that can tell you that there's an element here of, as I said, this scheming, plotting sort of energy here, and somebody who's quite prepared to cut you off and leave you out in the cold. So be very aware of that, because again, a king, this is mature energy, so this is somebody who knows what they're doing and can use their words in a hypercritical way, so be guarded about that as well. Now you've got the Hangman. This is really interesting, because on top of the Hangman, which is somebody who's passive and not taking any action, here you've got the Chariot. So this is somebody with determination and focus, and who drives home, who suddenly makes up their mind they're going to charge ahead and go forward. And it's a very, very positive energy. And in this case, I guess, even if you don't know which direction you're going to go in, there's this determination to go forward and perhaps to change your circumstances. Now, the energy on the Chariot is quite fast. So once you come down from this Hangman position where you're not taking any action, I think you'll make very decisive and quick action to move forward. Now, on top of this King of Cups in reverse, here we've got the Knight of Cups. So be guarded, because again, this could be the King of Cups. Pardon me, I've got to swallow. The king, I'm talking too fast. The King of Cups, it could be the King of Cups energy who's coming out with an apology. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I get the impression, because he's got the, he doesn't want to hear his own words, because he's got the glass dome, he's got the fishbowl on his head. He's just coming out with this beautiful cup to sort of give you sweet words and tell you how much he cares about you. But it's on top of the King of Cups, so I wouldn't trust that for 1 minute if that's the same person coming forward to offer you an apology and tell you how much they care about you. And I'd be very guarded, because it's on top of the King of Cups in reverse. You've got a lot of kings here. Now, here we've got the King of Pentacles in reverse again. So again, there's this energy here. We've got this Nine of Wands. So this can be somebody, as I said, sort of hemming you in and caging you in. And this person is, the King of Pentacles, is very self-assured. This is a boss energy, okay? So already we know this is somebody who knows how to manage their affairs very, very well. So this could be a boss again. This is a sense of they're only worried about their own security. They're not necessarily thinking about you, and it doesn't matter how much work they give you and overload you. They are only thinking about what return they can have for themselves, because he's also making that number 4 sort of symbol with the way his legs are positioned. So he's worried about his own security, not your security. And he's worried about finances, because the rams here are talking, the rams on the side of his so-called throne are talking about his financial security and his well-being in the world. So he's more interested in his own security and his own well-being than he is about yours. So you have all the kings are in the reverse aspect. So you need to be quite guarded about this heavy masculine energy that's around you, because I think it's made you lose your confidence. Okay, now we've got, this is the Five of Cups. This is being quite hurt, quite upset. Now the King of Pentacles is just as likely, if he gets wind of the idea that you're examining your options, he's just as likely to give you notice to quit. So as I said, don't be expecting that this person or the King of Cups or even the King of Swords will be looking out for your interests. And if they give you notice to quit, you might feel quite devastated and lost. But sometimes, once you look beyond the grief and the, let's say, I won't say the word embarrassment, it's not really embarrassing to be given your notice. Once you look at that sort of sad state of affairs and say, well, this is my loss, this is my disappointment, there are still 2 more cups there for you to look in. So, you know, you need to walk away, and once you walk away from that disappointment and the actions that have caused you this pain, then you will be more aware of what opportunities lie before you. So go ahead. Now it's rather interesting, and because the cups that are spilt are no longer serving you any use. You know, there's nothing of use for you in an overturned cup. So once you've examined your own wishes, and once you've gotten over your disappointments and your loss, then, you know, go ahead, because a new cup will be offered you. There is always opportunity. There are always more jobs. There are always more people that will be ready to welcome you. So what is not recognized in one place, for example, with one set of people, then, you know, move on somewhere else, because when you move to another place, other people will recognize what you have to offer. So I'm going to leave it there. I did talk here about this Six of Pentacles. You will find this balance, and you will probably find a new job or a new position that brings you more financial reward, or something that actually gives you your reward for the efforts that you've put in. I'm going to leave it at that, Cancer. I think that's quite long enough, and I think I've spoken enough. So I will shuffle these oracle cards. For those of you who don't want to stay for the oracle, thank you very much for watching. But I will shuffle the oracle cards for anybody who'd like to have an oracle card as well. But don't lose your confidence. You know, be very sure of yourself. Realize your own potential, okay? See your self-worth. You are a divine being, and we all have beautiful talents and beautiful things to offer the people in this world. And whether you're recognized or not will really depend on the people that you surround yourself with. And don't forget, everybody has their own agenda. So, you know, you need to look out for your own interests. Let's take that one. Okay, gratitude. Well, I think you'll be full of gratitude when you actually walk away. As you can see, you've got your back turned. So looking outward again, looking at the moon, I think you might be saying your prayers, you might be looking forwards. But I think once you actually decide to examine everything so that you're not under any illusions anymore, you will perhaps walk away, and I think then you will be grateful for the things that you've actually learnt in these circumstances, because any difficult set of circumstances is there to help you learn something, and you become wiser and more knowledgeable. You get to recognize personality traits, and you probably won't fall into the same pitfalls next time if somebody tries to manipulate you. So be grateful for everything that you've learnt in this cycle of your life, and, you know, turn your back on the situation if it's not what you really want. Thank you so much for watching, Cancer. I do hope this reading has been enjoyable for you, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.